Hey Cassie, how you doing? Thank you so much for your submission here. So I just want to go over something that I'm just going over this with all of the students who didn't post to the critique board by the deadline Friday this particular week. Now keep an eye on those critique board submission due dates because they change in coming weeks. They move from Fridays to Wednesdays. So keep an eye on it. It's really important you know this, but uh, it's really important to submit to the critique board on time because that way you'll be able to gather the comments and critiques from your post and apply them to your final submission. So, for example, this week you didn't get your initial post into the critique board until Sunday. So there's no way to apply comments to that final submission. Presumably you submitted to your final submission Sunday as well. Do you see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here is that if you submit your work to the critique board by the due date, then you'll receive ample feedback with plenty of time to apply that feedback to your final submission for Sunday, which could effectively affect the amount of points received for any individual assignment. And of course, we're here for A's, right? You want an A in the class, and I want to give you an A in the class. So we really, really need to adhere to the specified formula of the class just to ensure that your initial post to critique board has all of the requirements included. If it doesn't, myself or one of your classmates will likely respond in that regard so that you can apply those recommendations to your final submission. Okay, hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. But yeah, okay. Um, okay, look, for example, right now you don't have any target audience defined for your work. I looked here and I also looked in this submission here. So there's really no, I mean, you've done a good job describing intent. We've got advertising, promotional, advertising. That's fantastic. What we don't, and then you have the intent of the piece, right? All three pieces. That's great, but we don't have a definitive description of the target audience. And that's very specifically relevant because graphic design is really all about communicating to an intended audience, right? We can't communicate to two different user groups without identifying the objectives and needs of those groups. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a great a practice to identify the demographics, age, and special interests of any specific user group or any specific target audience. That way you can take that research and you can hone your communication to fit that specific set of data in the research, okay? Hope that makes sense. So other than that, let's go ahead and jump over to the sketches themselves. I think, let me just zoom out here a little bit. Okay, these are great. I think this one's fantastic. I think it's really fun too. The Carbach Brewing Company with the Helicella. I think that's how, is that Helicella? Spicy cerveza. This is great with the little devil sitting poolside. So playful. It's really, really inviting. And this just really, really defines this little statement right here. Tex-Mex for hell yeah. That just really defines the posture of the piece as kind of a piece that employs levity in its advertising approach. So that's I love it. I love it. I think this is a lot stronger than this in two ways. Number one, I think the message is more clear. Number two, I think that the potential for applying interesting and engaging illustrative techniques is more advanced in this particular example than here, because all we have here really are the flames. All right, and the same thing can be said about this piece here. This piece is mostly typographic. With the only chance you'll have to illustrate this piece here is this symbol right here, as well as the flag, which are both great practice opportunities for practice for your illustrative techniques, right? But I don't think it has the same type of illustrative capability that this does. Do you see what I'm saying? This piece does, though. This piece does. I mean, this gives you a great opportunity to illustrate the Instapot. One thing I would recommend here is this is an ad. Make it an ad. Okay, so right now you're just saying Instapot, fast, easy, smart. Let's add a little text here about what the Instapot is and why it's so relevant as an appliance. And again, target audience. I mean, the target audience here is I would say young single people, right? Or young families with young full-time working families or mothers or fathers, single parents with kids because this way, these are the people that use this kind of appliance to start the dinner early in the day, right? And then come back. I'm assuming this is like a crock pot, right? Now, when I was single, I used a crock pot every single day of my life because I would get my food together in the crock pot in the morning and it would be done by the time I got home from work, right? So I think that's specifically a very relevant example of the importance of a target audience. So, um, all right, so is moving forward, please choose the direction you feel has the most potential. Um, and please let me know that my comments make sense because I think it's really, really important moving forward in the class. All right, great job. Thank you very much.